Hi, thank you for tuning in to our three-part emergency management video series for home care. This is part one, Be Aware and Prepare, where we'll discuss how to be ready before an emergency happens. Welcome to all the home care patients, caregivers, and providers. I'm Carol Dio, Senior Associate of Public Policy at the New York State Association of Healthcare Providers, or HCP. Please remember that this short video is just an overview to get you started in planning for hazards. Use this information together with the plan your home care provider has gone over with you. HCP thanks the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, who provided the funding for this important project. Now let's dive in and help you be aware of what risks you might face and how to prepare yourself. Being prepared makes everything less scary. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about what kinds of emergencies are common and how to decide how big your personal risk is. We'll stress the importance of information because knowledge really is power. Finally, you'll learn some basic items to have in your home and what you need to take with you if you have to leave. It's good to know what kinds of disasters are out there. You also need to know your own risk for them causing harm or disruption in your life. We'll start with weather. And of course, there's weather every day, so we don't usually think of rain or snow or heat as an emergency, but it surely can be. In fact, on average, extreme heat events kill more New Yorkers than any other extreme weather event. Ice storms are dangerous too. Travel is difficult and the power can go out, so it's important to pay attention to the weather. There could also be emergencies specific to where you live, at your home. A fire or a flood, for example, or a tree falling on the roof. Even an overflowing toilet can feel like an emergency. Know your way around your home or your apartment building if you live in one. Where are the fire extinguishers? Which exit is closest? Can you get out a window if you need to? Also, it's important to know your neighborhood. Does it get flooded often? Who might help you in an emergency? What businesses or services are in each direction from where you live and work and play? There are too many possibilities to list them all, but natural and other kinds of disasters could be a tidal wave or an earthquake, or even a forest fire thousands of miles away that affects the air we breathe. Finally, your risks in an emergency depend on how much you rely on things like subways, cell phones, and electricity. So besides the general risks we just talked about, we all have certain risks that are very personal and unique just for us. Health and medical risks are personal. Think about your medicines and your diet. What do you need to plan for to maintain them in an emergency? How do you get around? Do you need to take a cane or walker with you if you leave? Would someone be able to help you with a wheelchair? Important things to think about. As we've said, reliable information is especially important in an emergency. Would you need assistance with understanding messages or announcements? Don't forget to think about hearing aids or reading glasses. We all have daily routines, our day-to-day lives that are interrupted by an emergency. How will you cope with these disruptions? If you have pets, how will they be affected by changes in routines? And finally, you're used to certain services in your home and community. Maybe you have a caregiver to help you, or you count on food deliveries or church support. Those might not be as accessible during an emergency in your home or community. Now let's talk a second about emergency alert services. These are services like weather warnings that inform the public when something is a threat to our safety or well-being. These are trusted sources of information that you can sign up for on your phone or computer. They are run by people with a lot of experience getting messages out to help people act and cope with whatever is happening. There is a list of some of these services for New Yorkers at the end of this video, including Notify New York City and the National Weather Service. Keep in mind that these general notifications don't substitute for the messages you receive from your care providers or local first responders. It's very important to pay attention to alerts from your care providers. They know your risks and your needs, and you already trust them with your health. You might receive text messages or phone calls with instructions, or just as a check-in to see how you're doing during a hazardous event or situation. Be sure to respond and always ask for help if you need it. So we're talking about being prepared, and this slide looks like a lot, but we've actually talked about all of this in just a few minutes. You want to make a plan for emergencies before you need one. The references at the end of the video will walk you through making an emergency plan step by step. You know how to sign up for alerts and to listen to your care team. You need to know who your other team members are too. Family, friends, neighbors, they all need to stay connected in good times and in rocky ones too. Make sure someone can get into your home and is familiar with your health needs. And include pets in any plans you make. Know how you'll get out safely if you need to leave, and also where you'll go. This is why it's good to know your community and its services. In a minute, we'll talk more about emergency supplies and go bags. So I'm going to talk for a second about staying put, because in an emergency, a lot of times home is really the safest place to be. Think about a major snowstorm. We can hunker down and be comfortable if we've planned ahead. So we need to have emergency supplies handy. Again, use the reference at the end of the video for a checklist of things to have on hand, like a flashlight, batteries, some food and water, and medications. A pen and paper come in handy to jot down instructions from your care team as well. And staying connected is worth mentioning again. Keep a radio or smartphone handy and charged so you don't miss updates. And just as important, try to be patient when you're staying put. Remember that emergencies don't last forever, so stay busy if possible to avoid boredom and anxiety. The storm will pass and you'll be healthier if you aren't too stressed. So we'll talk a second about go bags. If you ever have to leave your home in an emergency, having a go bag will make it much easier to get out quickly and safely. You can purchase a pre-made kit from the Red Cross or elsewhere, but you'll definitely need to personalize it with extra items. You can just make your own. It's sometimes cheaper and more useful if you do that. Use a backpack or a bag with wheels to make it easy to take along. You can start building your emergency kit today with items you already have. Then you can fill in other supplies as you come across them or as you can purchase them. Refer to the list in the extra resources at the end of the video. Just to touch on a few items, you'll need medications, important papers, which you'll want to put in a zip-type bag to keep it waterproof, ID cards. Make sure you include some cash because if the electricity is out, a credit or debit card will not work. A change of clothes is handy, lightweight food like protein bars, and a spare pair of eyeglasses are also good to include. And again, this is a short list. A full list of items is in the resources. You'll want to store your bag in a place that's easy to get to quickly, and be sure all household members know where it is. You'll also want to check your go bag about every 6 months and rotate food and medicine so that everything is always fresh. The time to put together a go bag will be well worth the effort if you ever need it. As we come towards the end of the video, here's a little short list of things to do so that you can be aware and prepared for just about any type of common emergency. Being aware, staying connected, and having supplies will all help you stay safe. And here are some of the resources we've promised. They come from the federal government and from the trusted organization AARP. They provide more detailed instructions and handy checklists for you to use in your preparation activities. The links are shown in full on the last slide of this video. We thank you and hope you found this short video helpful and learned some new tips so that you can be aware and prepare for hazards in your home and community. Please contact us with comments and suggestions for future programs. And let the video keep running to see the list of emergency alert services and the links to the resources. Our next video, in part 2, we will discuss what to do during an emergency. We hope you check it out. Be aware and be prepared and stay safe.